Hello everybody, welcome back to the Farming Simulator 22 Map First Impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at New Giants Island. But before that, this video is brought to you by William Chapman and Adam Buckman. Thank you for being farm barons. So the New Giants Island map can be found over at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu, and as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for all platforms. Let me read you some of the description. Experience the beginnings. Welcome back to the map from Farming Simulator 2009. Pure nostalgia with some extras. There are 29 fields available on the map from small to large, 3 different forest areas to give you direct access to forestry. Some fountains are distributed as water sources, as well as, of course, the sea. Now, realistically, I don't think you're going to be getting water for your animals from the sea. The whole saltwater thing. There are also collectibles. Look forward to an exciting search for gold pieces. There are over 20 points of sale as well as all standard productions. The seasonal growth has been adapted for a mild climate of the island. Many objects are visible during corresponding seasons, times, or weather conditions. In addition, the farm has been equipped with storage facilities as well as a cowshed and a few chickens. By purchasing the districts or the farmlands, a sheep area as well as a pigsty and BGA can also be used. In addition, friends of Autodrive can be pleased to know that there is an Autodrive course integrated into the map, and of course that is going to be for PC players only. Added is an iron purchase station and corresponding points of sale for the new Platinum expansion production items, and this map is precision farming ready. Let's go ahead and load on in. We are going to use the mods we typically use. We take a look at maps, that is additional field info, additional game settings, field lease, field calculator, and precision farming. Now, I will say, before we get too far into this video, I am currently traveling, and as such, I am using my mobile recording setup, which is using a Mobile 2060 Super graphics card. As such, if you see any hitching with the recording, it is likely due to that as opposed to any issues with the map. Now, I will say, if you load this map up in Farm Manager mode or start from scratch, you will find that the starting farm is completely void of all buildings. Now, you do own machinery in all play modes, but again, in Farm Manager or Start from Scratch, you're going to find that all of the buildings here on the starting farm are completely gone. And one thing to say is, when I was doing my earlier testing of this map before the recording, I tried to delete all the stuff on the local farms. I was successful in deleting the main buildings, but what I was not successful in doing was deleting some of the decorative elements that are scattered around. For example, this basketball hoop, these trash cans, they remained even after I sold this building. As such, if you do plan on rearranging the starting farm here, I highly suggest you start in Farm Manager mode. That way you can buy the land, and then you can put down your own buildings and get going with a completely blank slate. Let's go ahead and take a look at that PDA. And anyone that has played Farm Sim for any period of time has likely seen this map or has likely played on a map that has borrowed from this PDA. We do have all the standard crop types available to us in Farm Sim 22 on this map. And if we take a look at our lands area, you'll see we start by owning Farmland 45, which is the main starting farm. It is 6.56 hectares in size and $511,000 to buy. In addition, we own Farmland 15, which is a field. It's 1.77 hectares in size and $115,000 to buy. And Farmland ID 23, which is $129,000 to buy. In addition to that, there are some other animal areas. We have a pigsty over here at Farmland ID 35, $131,000 to buy. We have a sheep area over here at Farmland ID 50 for $121,000 to buy. And then we have a BGA at Farmland ID 30 for nearly $800,000 to buy. Let's go ahead and take a look at our farmland lease screen. Farmland lease screen is going to show us all of the buyable farmlands, how large those farmlands are, if those farmlands including field or fields, which they include, and then ultimately how much is the land going to cost. Looks like we have parity with respect to farmland number and field number all the way up to 29, which is really nice to see. Then we get into the farmlands that do not have any fields below that. We take a look at our field calculator screen. This is now going to show us specifically the fields and how large each specific field is. And then we can go back and cross-reference that with the farm land prices for those given fields and farm lands. Now here is the custom crop counter. A little bit of changes, not a whole lot of changes from the base game, but we do have some changes with respect to the crop counter, as the description said. And as we take a look down through our prices screen, you will see that we do indeed have the ability to sell all of our base game crops that are available to us in Farm Sim 22. In addition, we have sell points for eggs, wool, and milk. We also have sell points for silage, hay, straw, and grass. If we take a look now down through our production items, you will see that we do also indeed have the ability to sell all of our base game products that are available to us in FS22. In addition, we have the ability to buy bulk lime. We also have the ability to sell our stones at the stone crusher. And then as we move further down through the product screen, you can see we do indeed also have the ability to sell all of the Platinum Expansion DLC items, as the description said. Now, this map also has some custom production. We have the ability to make corn oil. We also have the ability to make soybean oil. And we have the ability to make oat flakes. So those are the 3 custom production items that are also available. Taking a look at our starting fleet, we start out with a decent listing of starting equipment. All of it is owned, none of it is leased. And the Fendt 942, well, I think we're going to find that down at the shop because it's going to need a boatload of repairs. We do start out with 9 chickens and 1 rooster, as well as the cow barn. We will need to buy the sheep area and the pig area in order to make use of that. This map does have contracts available. We do not own any other production chains at the start, and this map actually includes 12 production chains built in. We will get to a rundown of that during the fly around portion of the video. We also have 100 golden nuggets to run around and collect. A few of them we're going to find here on our starting farm. Let's go ahead and take a look at our starting fleet. Start out with the Fendt Favorite 515C small tractor. Then we move up to the Fendt 1050, a pair of those. We have then a pair of Fendt 942 Varios. Sorry, we have 4 942 Varios, one of which appears to be the Black Beauty variant. We then have the Fendt Ideal 10T Harvester. We have the 40-foot Dynaflex grain header for that harvester. We also have the N7040 harvester header trailer. We have our 1986 pickup truck. We have a pair of Krone GX520 trailers. We have the Lemken 9840 cultivator. We also have the ES Pro 6000 RC seeder. We have the Breedal K165 fertilizer and lime spreader. We have the XB150 front loader arms, and for the front loader we have a universal bucket. And then we round it all out with a 3,300 kilogram front weight, and then a set of 1,500 kilogram front weights. So we've got quite the Fendt equipment going on here on the map, and I have to say, I feel like we've got some fairly large equipment also, given the field sizes of this map. Taking a look at the mods and DLCs, you will see that we do not have any custom vehicles or implements that are part of this map. Taking a look at the build mode, we're going to find that we have some custom buildings that are available for placement. Now, a lot of these are the older FS09 or 13 style buildings, because this is a nostalgic centered map, and as such we're going to find a lot of older items available. For example, we have the straw barn here, which has our dump point, and then our fill pipe is likely inside the barn. Standard silo extensions. We then have our fuel tank. We have a workshop ramp, and then we have our old farmhouse. Under production, we do not have any custom production, so the fact that we can make our oat flakes and our 2 custom oils, we are not going to be able to put additional factories down that make those. We don't have any custom sell points, egg houses, or greenhouses, orchards, or generators. We have all standard animal pens and all standard deco elements. Taking a look at our ground textures. We've got a decent collection of ground textures. Let's go ahead and take a look at those. We have our animal mud, our asphalt. We have our cobblestone already. We have our concrete, dirt, forest ground, grass, dry grass, gravel, rock, granite, sand, and then we have our wet sand. In addition to that, we have a standard collection of plants and a standard collection of trees. We are looking at modern FS22 style ground textures. What I will say is, as we move through the map, you are going to see a mixture of old buildings and old textures, as well as FS22 buildings and textures. And they can get a little awkward when we have two of those side by side. Some old buildings and then some new buildings. When they get too close together, they really make things stand out. So here we have our chickens. We have our animal buy point. 50 chickens in total. We have our food trough, and then we have our egg spawn point. We have our fuel tank. Inside here we have our output pipe for our straw barn. And our input. We have our machinery storage. Oh, and just so you know, that's what they look like. FS17 nuggets, at least that's what I recall FS17 nuggets looking like. There we go, $50,000. We get 50 grand for 100 of those. Wow. That is quite the bank balance there. For our farm sim silo, we have a silage pit. Some more storage. This is that maintenance ramp, and that is one of our tractors that we can make use of. Then we have an FS22 cow area, so we have our slurry point. Of course, we have our food trough. Our food trigger and straw trigger. $80 cows in this building. Then we have our milk point located right there. Now let's jump back into the precision farming soil map, because I do want to take a look and see what the custom soil map looks like. On the back of our farmhouse, we also have our wardrobe trigger, conveniently located at the clothesline. Nice little touch. We can see the fields kind of centered to the map are a mix of loam and sandy loam. We've got some silty clay over by the forest on the west. That is going to be covering fields 19 as well as 16, 15, 21, 20, and 24. To the north, we have a mix of loamy sand, sandy loam, and silty clay. And then to the west, we have loamy sand, sandy loam, and once again, loam. Let's go ahead and take to the clouds a little bit. Do a little bit of a fly around. First, we'll take a look at our starting farm from the sky. Now let's just do a little 360 pan here. Sorry, I don't have my joysticks with me. We're gonna have to use the mouse. And there is a lot going on this little island, I'll tell you. Like I said, we have 12 productions pre-placed on the map. We've got a BGA, we've got a grape processing center, we have a tailor, sugar mill, oil mill, we have a dairy, we have a grain mill. We also have then a sawmill, carpentry, spinnery, bakery, and cereal mill. And a lot of these hot spots on the map They are what I call points of interest. So you're going to find explanations around here. These are points of interest, viewpoints, if you will. Got several over here by the lighthouse. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to do a kind of a counterclockwise rotation around. Below here we have our spinnery and our carpentry. Then coming over into this, we have some sell points. We also have some fill points. So we have a bulk seed fill point located right there. We have what I believe is a bulk fertilizer point right there. Then we have a bulk lime point over here. We have a biomass heating plant sell point, so that's going to be for wood chips. Then conveniently we have the wood chip spawn point for the sawmill. So we have our pallet spawn point for our planks, interactive trigger, our wood trigger, and then our wood sell point. We have our grape processing. That's continuing around the island here. We have our pigsty and a little bit of a shed. Yep, we have a grain sell point located below. The next significant point of interest is going to be down here at the docks. We got a sell point. We have our wood sell point at the docks. We have a bulk buy point for lime. We have our stone crusher. We have a maintenance trigger down here. Then we have a sell point over here. During the drive around, we'll take a closer look at what each one of these is going to work with. We have a grain sell point. This is going to be an importation. This is going to be a bulk buy point. During the drive around, we'll take a look and see what we can buy under there. Here we have a sell point for wood chips down at the dock. We have fuel. Then directly ahead we have our starting farm. We're going to swing to the north. As we progress up here to the north, we have our bakery located right there. We have another interesting point of interest in the cow. Maybe you want to check underneath the cow. Another sell point. We have two sell points here, or we have a sell point, and then we have the restaurant. So this is going to give us kind of an example of an old building and the old dump station compared to a modern FS22 building right next door and its dump point. We have our animal dealer with static animals. Coming up here in the garden center, we have some sell points. We have a sell point for manure. And we have a buy point. And these are going to be for things like seed and fertilizer. Okay, so there's a ton of buy points around here, and they are kind of difficult to figure out which is which. So seed is going to be on our right. Fertilizer is going to be on our left. Now this is an interesting feature of the map. We have a golf course. And we have piles of grass. This is going to be sell point. And we have golf course here. And around the other side of the golf course, we have another pile of grass. So that's going to be sell points for various things. No doubtly grass. Take a look at these. We have here grass heaps. That's what I've been talking about. We also sell our hay there, as well as our straw there. We sell silage. Nope, can't sell silage at the grass heaps. Just grass, hay, and straw. We have our tailor. Then right next to the tailor, we have some of these older style buildings. And what we're going to do is, with respect to buildings where appropriate or using the new texture technique, that scoring metric, the map's going to get 1/4 of a point because we have so many old style buildings using the old textures. Now I get it. The purpose of this map is to be nostalgic, and as such, this map is making use of original buildings. I understand that. But still, we have our scoring metric, and that's how we're going to do it. With respect to production, we are going to give the map a full point there because we do have 12 production items built into the map. In addition, the map is going to get a full point for having the ability to sell all of the base game crops, animal outputs, and production areas. Got a nice little skate park going on here. We've already seen the basketball courses, or courts. With respect to, can the farms be customizable? Since we can sell the majority of the starting farms buildings, we are going to give the map 3/4 of a point there. Not a massive deduction as a result of just being able to not sell the decorative items. We have our dealer trigger over here, as well as our workshop trigger. Then several other sell points and bulk buy points right across the street from that. We'll go in greater detail on that as we do our drive around. Another one of those lovely grass heaps. A little bit of a campground here. The edge of this island tip. Then we have our sheep point. And we'll be buying that land in order to purchase the sheep during the drive around. We have our Stonehenge. Our BGA with traffic, nonetheless, looping around. Now, I did buy the BGA, and I was able to sell the BGA, so I can sell the BGA there. I can sell all 3 of these silage bunkers. I can even sell the liquid slurry tanker, as well as the fuel storage over here, and the methane pump. What I could not sell are the lampposts, nor any of the other decorative building items around this area. Given the fact that we have traffic running through here, you need to be rather cautious when placing your own BGA here if you are going to place your own BGA, because, well, of course, if you put it in the line of traffic, it's going to look awful weird having traffic drive through your buildings. But they will. We have our dairy located over here, as well as our bakery. I like the details with the smoke coming out. That's nice. Another one of those fabulous grass heaps. And that is pretty much going to do us for the fly around. Quick look at the map. Got this giant blimp flying around. You see we've got nice rolling fields, square fields for the most part. Get back up here to our vehicle dealer, and that's where we're going to find our tractor, one of the Fendt Varios that needs maintenance. It's over here at the dealer up on a lift. So let me just get over there and we'll talk more about that. At the Fendt dealership, we have our shop trigger, our dealer trigger. Let's go ahead and get our Mahindra. And then we have our maintenance trigger over here. So our buy, sell, trade, repaint, and repair customize trigger. Fairly small spawn point for new vehicles and machinery right here in front of the shop. And then we've got our tractor. We gotta get this thing down. We're just left clicking to slowly lower the lift. There we go. Now we'll have access to our tractor. Directly across the street from the dealership, we have a fuel trigger. We also have a grain sell point, dump station here at front. And then around the back, we have various fill points. I believe this was fertilizer. This is lime. Oh, sorry. That's seed. That's lime. That's fertilizer. We also have an egg sell point right here. Remember that icon? I remember seeing that icon in FS17. That's where we're going to come and bring our eggs. And just up the road from the shop, we have one of those grass heaps. So I'm on my way over here because this is where the sheep are. It's going to do a little off-road driving over here. Once you own the farmland, then you'll see these triggers pop up. We've got 75 sheep in this pen. And then we have this maintenance trigger, this wrench over here. Not really sure what the wrench is supposed to do. I think it might be a misplaced icon. Of course, we have our food trough here around the front. And then we have our wool trigger on the side. Make our way over to the biogas plant. Be curious to know how many of you all have played at some point in time on this particular map, Giants Island. Maybe in 09, maybe in 13, maybe in Farm Sim 15, 17, or 19. And now you have your opportunity to play it in FS22. So we have the BGA. So we have our digest unload. We have our interactive trigger. We have our slurry point. We have our digestate pickup point. We have fuel storage. We have a methane pump. As we mentioned, 3 silage bunkers. We can sell these as well as the BGA. And we have a liquid slurry storage tank, so we could slur digestate in there if we wanted to. Make your way over here to the dairy. This is a fairly standard FS22 dairy. As such, we have our pallet spawn point, our dump station, our interactive icon here at the front door. Same, we have a fairly standard FS22 bakery. Our interactive icon, we have our dump point, and then we have our pallet spawn point. Really well done with the smoke there. I like that effect. All right, we got a little bit of a drive going on here. I think we've pretty much covered all of the scoring metrics that I want to cover at this point. I'd be curious to know what your all's thought processes are on these types of maps. There are maps that just come up every generation of farm sim. We've got this one. We've got the names aren't coming to me right now, but I think we've all seen them. Yeah, the base game FS15 map. We have the base game FS13 map that has come up from time to time, or fairly routinely, I should really say. What are your all's thoughts on those? Sometimes I think maps should just be left alone, left to stay back in the previous farm sim and not come forward. Other times it's kind of nice, but this one for me is getting a little mature at this point. So we've got our interactive icon for our spinnery. We have a pallet spawn point for our carpentry shop. We have a dump point and our pallet spawn point for our fabric. We have our wood cell trigger, our dump point for our wood, and our interactive icon. There was a variant of this map, I think it was back in FS19. Maybe it was back in FS17, where they changed out all the buildings. It was the same PDA, but they had changed out all the buildings to be modern buildings for that particular generation of farm sim. I like that map a lot better than these that are using period accurate buildings as far as FS09 kind of period buildings. So we've got our grain dump point, we have our seed buy point, we have our fertilizer buy point, then we have our lime buy point over here. We have our wood chip sell point at the biomass heating plant, our wood chip spawn point for the sawmill, we have our plank spawn point, we have our interactive icon, dump point for our logs, and our wood cell trigger. Fairly standard grape processing. So we have our interactive icon, our pallet spawn point around the front, dump point in the back, it does allow you though to see in one place the progression. Even yesterday I get comments on YouTube videos. Giants is awful. Giants doesn't listen. Giants doesn't update anything. It's the same game as it has been since FS15. Open your eyes. It's not. And this is a perfect example of it's not. You look at this building. Look at these other buildings. Look at them up close. Then go to an FS22 building. Look at it up close. Night and day is what we're talking about here. There's a grain dump point. Oh, this is a flour mill. So I bought this because I wanted to show you that we have production here, and it is custom. We have wheat, barley, oat, and sorghum flour as we expect. We can also make corn flour. 15 units of corn make 14 units of flour. That is new. Then we have our pallet spawn point right here by the dump station. Not super convenient, in my opinion, but okay. We'll go with it. Broken record is what I say to those people that just say, Giants doesn't listen to anybody. Giants doesn't update the game. We just got 1.9. We just got bale and pallet storage. That's a major update. That's a major ask that people have had. Giants doesn't listen. You don't get bale and pallet storage, do you? But we got it. How about when FS22, before it released, Giants had feedback? That's not how you harvest sorghum. You harvest sorghum halfway, you don't harvest it on the ground, you harvest it just below the head. What do? They make the change, 11th hour. That's how we harvest sorghum now. By harvesting it at the head and leaving the shaft in the ground. Nope, Giants doesn't listen. Clearly. So this is an bulk buy point for iron ore, stones, road salt, wood chips. You can all buy from here. We have our grain dump point. We have a maintenance trigger, as I mentioned, under the shed there. Our stone crusher, bulk lime. Here we have sea export, overseas export. I believe this is going to be the sell point for the for a lot of this production. Overseas export. Yeah, overseas export. So all the platinum expansion stuff is going to go to the overseas export. That's going to be right here. The wood sell trigger right there to sell down here at the port. And then let's go ahead and see what this is going to be a sell point for. That is sea export windrow. So that's going to be our bales sell point down here at the port. If I didn't mention it, we have fuel available also here at the port. A lovely lady there attending the shed, little shack right by the fuel point. And she's got a twin up here playing around a golf. Here we have another grain sell point. Then we have our restaurant sell point. Let's head up the hill to our bakery. Another perfect example of Giants either not listening, completely not paying attention, or not improving the game at all would be the new feature they added in 1.9. So there's another egg sell point. The screen space resolution scaling or texture scaling. I believe that's what it was called. Basically, if you're not looking directly at it, the game's going to render it at a little bit lower resolution. Help you out with your frames. Maybe if it's dark, it's around the corner, you know, like this here. I can almost see it here take effect. When I turn the flashlight on, I kind of feel like I see the trash can render out in a little bit higher resolution than it was when it was in shadow. So we have our interactive icon there. We have our dump point and our pallet spawn point. That would be the giant cow statue that's a point of interest. You may want to look underneath the cow, just saying. Let's just double back real quick. And then here at the garden center, we have our farmer's market sell point. We have a brass windrow style sell point for whatever. We also then have a manure buy point. We have a seed buy point, our sell point, and fertilizer as well. We're going to buy bulk seed and fertilizer. We're coming over here to our golf course. So we have our grass heaps here and over there, as we mentioned earlier, in the fly around portion. We have a grocery sell point, fuel point, as well as Mama Joe's Diner sell point. We have our production tailor. Right there. And then I think we're coming around to our final little area of interest. That is a sell point here at the mill. Then we have our sugar mill, dump point, pallet spawn point, interactive icons going to be on the back. Then we have our oil mill, and the oil mill also has some custom production going on. Let's get the oil mill purchased. And as you can see, we also have the ability to make corn oil. 2 units of corn, make corn oil. And then 2 units of soybeans, it's going to make soybean oil. We have our dump point and our pallet spawn point. So our final scoring metric is player interactive areas being clearly marked. I feel they are. Maybe we can have a little bit better kind of visual indicator as to what is going on with respect to the seed bulk buy point, the fertilizer bulk buy point, and the lime bulk buy point. But overall, it's pretty obvious that they're buy points, and then I think after playing on the map a little bit, you'll be able to figure out exactly which one is which. So we're going to go ahead, be generous, give the map a full point there as well. That's going to end up the map getting a score of 4 out of 5. Let me know your all's thoughts down in the comments below. 4 out of 5. Is it generous? Is it not generous? Are you going to be playing this map? Or are you not going to be playing this map? How much have you played this particular map in previous generations of Farm Sim? Inquiring minds want to know. Thank you. I'll be here all week. And until next time, happy farming.